What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Power Circle. There's a few things I feel like we need to address moving forward, and today is my day of free time, and I'd like to address it. I think that it's important as a species and moving forward as humanity progresses into this manifestation that we are living to do each day. Competition. I think that as human beings, we're in competition every day, and we really do not realize that we're competing and how often we compete. I believe personally that at some point that we've heard the word competition in our youth and playing sports and growing up, that we've heard it so much that we believe we know what it is. Competition to the point of hating on an individual or misrepresenting a certain someone or an individual. That's a form of competition. That is a form of competing. When you hate on someone, or if you go to a point of misrepresenting someone, or if you even want to stand out, or if you want to be noticed, you're wanting to position yourself of superiority. I believe. I think that we all, as human beings, for some reason, want to be liked. Or even if we don't want to be liked, we'll go out of our way to make that a statement. And we'll go out of our way to reassure what we want. In some ways, it comes out in the form of competitiveness. Competitiveness in the United States is essential to who we are as people and our personalities. If you really take a look at it, if there's some way you can collect the data for the last 50 years of people who participated in a sport, that number will be crazy. There's really a lot to identify in the data of people who participated in sports. I think if you look at the data of people who participated in sports, it will tell you so much. Then you have to look at what was popular at that time. Because a lot of these coaches at that time were dealt with what was popular. And so in times of coaching and educating these kids in athletics, it rubbed off on your guidance and how you guide that child. And that child saw you and was around you for a good portion of the days. But competition really souls your steps and your moves and how you see people. There really hasn't been a clear definition in my life of what competition is. No one told me and explained to me what competition is. I don't think that anybody can really agree on one set definition of what competition is. Take a look at your life and tell me how it's not, you don't have competitive behavior. Please tell me. I may be the only one, but if you look at your life, there's a lot of competitive behavior that goes on with some of your actions. So what is competitiveness? What does it mean to compete? What is a competitor? To me, in my personal opinion, and I can only look at it as a team concept at this point, or even personally, You can't have a hater mentality and be a competitor. To me, a hater mentality is a cheater. So once you cheat, you're no longer a competitor, right? Can we agree that a competitor is not a cheater? And to me, a hater is a cheater. To me, a competitor acknowledges talent and acknowledges the greatness in their opponent or a teammate. Once you recognize once you recognize and acknowledge that greatness in that competitor or teammate, as a competitor, you want to work your butt off to be better than that person, that competitor or teammate, that person you're competing against or teammate. You want to be better than them. And especially if they're a teammate, once you're better than them, you want to encourage that you're better than now. You know, the person that you've done everything you needed to do to become better than. You want to help them be better than you. You want to do everything in your power as you're training your butt off to see what they can do to be on your same level. Once they're on your same level, then you whoop their butt again. If they need help and insight on what you're doing to remain the best, give them the help that they need. See who can challenge you off of your throne. And once they are able to challenge you off your throne, then you whoop their butts again. To me, that is a competitor. You have nothing but good to say about your opponent. You want to know all their strengths. You want to compliment them on their strengths, and you want to whoop that ass. That's a competitor. Not someone that looks at the flaw in the individual and talk about it. Or the opponent. You don't want to, that's, to me, that's complaint. That's not addressing what you got to do to whoop that person or that team. But our behaviors, especially those that have grown up as athletes or even those that have participated, you have these actions throughout your day that bring about competitiveness, that competitive nature. And to me, it's flawed on its essential meaning to life. It's flawed in so many ways on how people perceive what competitiveness is. Some people are even afraid of that word. That's important, guys, especially to us living in the United States. That's how we remain great. Not in the form of we hate you because you're great, you're a great country and what you're doing is great. It's because we want to know what you're doing great and we want to be better at it. And that's the mentality we want to have as human beings to one another. What is little Johnny doing that I can do to apply to my life to make it better? And if little Johnny is interested in what I'm doing, then so forth. But I would like information, Johnny. Johnny can't get mad if I'm becoming greater than him for the information he shared with me, or even if he didn't. This is something that I feel like I need to speak on. I think it's something that it's past discussed. I think that's something we need to pay more attention to as coaches and people that are tied to kids that are performing in athletics is what kind of competitive nature are you going to have? Because it's not overall on how that purpose is going to allow that competitive nature to manifest in the world, but it's on a collective. It's on a collective because we like to live comfortable here in the United States. We don't want to be a third world country where our currency doesn't matter. Let's start talking more about competitiveness, people. Let's look at our inner selves together while we're in this lane here. Love and reason. Our purpose in life is in competitiveness. That's the nature we have. Why do we have that nature? Is it perverted? Is it perverted at this point? Do we need to do anything to adjust it? power circle.